Hey there, I'm Catherine Davis. I'm a pediatric speech language pathologist, and I wanted to talk really quickly about reducing or even eliminating screen time, especially in our little ones. We'll talk about the research, what the American Academy of Pediatrics says, and then I'm going to also provide you alternatives. And I'm not here to just scold and say don't do this. I'm going to give you other options as well. So as far as the research, and I'll post the link to this down below, a few years back in 2017, there was a study done on 2-year-olds who were coming in for their well child exam, and what the doctors were finding is that for every 30 minutes that some of these kiddos were engaging in screen time, there was a 49% increased risk that these kids would be diagnosed with an expressive speech delay, which totally makes sense, as alarming as it is. If a child is just sitting there and watching videos and they're soaking in that information, it's good to some extent because they're learning their alphabet and they're learning their shapes and letters, and they're getting that information, but they're not being given the opportunity to say something back and to actually apply that and to practice it. So that's what the research says. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends children under the age of 18 months really shouldn't access screen time at all. From 18 months to 24 months, if anything, they recommend it needs to be side by side with an adult, and it can be some engaging videos. Think about like Sesame Street, where they're asking your child questions, they're giving them those fill-in-the-blank prompts. They're just prompting them to say things, so it's more engaging. Or it can be like games where you can sit next to your child, you can talk about what's happening on the screen with your kiddo, you can ask them questions, y'all can take turns and play the games together. Those are okay. Even then, we don't want it to be any more than an hour per day. And then they say, the American Academy of Pediatrics also says from ages 2 years to 5 years, same kind of thing, engaging videos and engaging games that you can play alongside your child, and no more than an hour per day. Again, I'm not here to scold and to say like you've been doing this all wrong, because I will admit it's so easy when we go out to eat, or I've had a long day at work and I come home, or we've been home all day and we're exhausted, right? It's so easy just to be like, oh my gosh, here's a phone, and just take it. But we want to think about the adverse effects it can have on our children, especially in the littlest ones. And we also want to consider the model that we're providing for our kiddos. This past weekend I was with my little niece, and we were all the adults were lounging on the couch, and we had all had a long day. She had gotten a nap, but the rest of us didn't, and we were exhausted lounging and scrolling on our phones, and she was running in circles and coming up to us and trying to grab our phones because she wanted to see what was going on. We were telling her, no, you can't play with that, but at the same time, here we are scrolling on our phones. And so it didn't pop into my mind like, oh gosh, think about the model that you're providing. Of course she wants to play on your phone, but again, thinking about that model that we're setting in place by sitting on our own phones and scrolling, and being kind of addicted in some way to our screens. So again, all of these things to keep in mind. And again, down below, I'm going to put a link to my Pinterest, and it has some activities, or lots of activities that will be easy to set up, or that you can play with your child at home. I'm also going to put this handy handout from Super Duper down below. It talks about how to be an engaged and active parent, and how to just interact with your child and how to play with them. Just some hopefully helpful links, along with those links from the American Academy of Pediatrics and that research I was referring to earlier. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below, and I will be happy to answer, to get back to you. But I hope that was helpful and just gave you some things to think about. Thanks so much for watching.